This is Ronald Cruz. Now you tuned in to TTT, Tell the Truth Boxing Podcast.
You had your moments in that fight.
Yeah, I think Spence. A fight with Porter would have been great for my career.
Tell the truth. I was never impressed with Keith Thurman. I'm sorry. Tell the truth.
I'm gonna stop the fight. I'm begging this guy. I was gonna stop the fight because I knew that was gonna be my last fight ever.
Tell the truth. Tell the damn truth.
Back at you with another one. Tell the Truth Boxing TTT, Tell the Truth Boxing Pod. I got my colleague Jabbar, Rick, and we got special guest Ronald Cruz. And you know it's your boy Khalif Watlington. All right, Ronald. So we're gonna have you tell the people, a little bit about yourself before we get into the interview.
Basically, I'm just, Ronald Cruz. I was a professional boxer for quite a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I started as a professional boxer in 2007, retired 2015, had a bunch of, not a bunch, but about 30 amateur fights. And, that's all for me.
Short, sweet, to the point. That's how Ronald rolls.
Man, a few words.
Okay, I'm gonna get it down to it. I went to Freedom High School in 10th grade. I was always a man. I went from Philadelphia, came out here, went to foster care, all that stuff. And then I was always on a mission to just look for someone tough for challenges. So in school, I'm asking people around, who's the toughest kid? Who's the toughest kid? And everyone kept saying Ronald, right? So I'm like, damn, who's this Ronald kid? Then I find out that Ronald is actually on my bus. So I had a mutual friend, his name was Harry. I pulled Ronald, I said, hey, can you talk to him and ask him, can we get together so we can spar, we can fight? I just want to test my skills against the best. So we come up to Ronald. Ronald, you remember that? We kind of, he translated that I want to fight him. There was no beef, that I just want to fight him, test my skills. Ronald accepted the course. And we decided to go fight the next day. We had the living room, Gatorade out. We went several rounds.
Radiators.
He's the first guy to ever stun me. I have never been stunned before. So obviously he had punching power. We drew a draw. I think they gave us a draw. Really good friend. A really good fight. And then after that became best friends. This is a brother to me. So I wanted to tell you how he got into boxing. I'm gonna let him explain that. And that's how it all started with me and Ronald. So, how did you get into boxing?
I was always really passionate about boxing. Ever since I was a little kid, I always loved boxing. Ever since watching Rocky movies and things like that, I dreamed of being a boxer. Tito Trinidad was my idol. I was being Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Born in Puerto Rico, and then just you know what I mean. Roy Jones was your
it was one man. Yeah, right.
As a little kid, Tito Trinidad was my guy. And I got into boxing. I met, like he was saying, I met Khalif in high school. The first day I met him, he invited me to fight. I'm like, but he's so humble. Like he came to me with this humble personality. Like, I love boxing, and we just clicked right away. I'm like, I love boxing myself as well. He's like, I want to test my skills. I'm like, let's do it. And it was, it was fun. That's how we met. Ever since that, we went at it in his living room. We started boxing. It's a thing about when you go at it with another man. Like you're punching each other. It's like after that you grow a certain level of respect.
Bond too.
Especially when at the time I wasn't a boxer. I was just a kid. And I was a teenager. And me and him, we just grew, this bond, this brotherly bond. After that, we were just, we were brothers.
Yeah, it was like a blood brother bond. And then after that, I went to college, and then kind of went our separate ways a little bit. We're in contact, but then I'm hearing Ronald in the streets.
Exactly.
In a dark spot.
Exactly.
And I'm like, no way, man, no way. So I reached out to him, tried to find him, pinpoint where he was at, and I got to him. We had a real deep conversation. I'm like, yo, Ronald, starting from now, today, I'm coming to get you. I'm taking you to the boxing gym. You're changing your life, and that was it.
That's love, man.
Yeah.
That's deep.
It's much more than that. It's a long story that we're just trying to shorten up in a little bit.
Yeah, well, we did, before all that, we even got into, we used to walk around the streets fighting everybody. I mean, I seen this guy knocking guys. Like, that's how I know I had a good chin, because he stunned me, of course, when I sparred him. But I see him flatten guys with one punch. And then when he goes pro, you see what he did in the pro, ranks. Yeah. And in the amateur ranks too. I mean, they called you the Cobra. I called you his hands of stone because you had good power.
That boy can crack.
Yeah. So just going through that, knowing Ronald, and when he went to the dark spot, I was like, man, he got too much potential. He's a good person, and I knew that the street life and going down that route, could have been dangerous. Yeah. So I felt like, I had to step up, and I did that with that's who I am, with a brother out of the situation. So.
Yeah, that's definitely something I would like to put out there. Like, when I was around 17 to about 19 years old, about 2.5 years, I was going through the really like wrong route. If I say wrong route, it's like I'm going all the night. I'm going really bad out there. I'm in the street doing all kinds of dumb crap, dumb shit.
Yeah, you curse on here, tell the truth.
Tell the truth. And Khalif was that like I said, that brother that I had in high school, that guy that was always, we had that bond. I haven't seen him in a long time. Then all of a sudden, he comes over to me, he finds me. He's like, yo, Ronald, what's up? I'm like, yo, shit, Khalif, my brother. And he's like, yo, let's get into boxing. And after that, he's like, yo, I wanna. He told me I wanna become a pro. I wanna do this shit for real. I wanna take this serious. And I'm like, you know what? I wanna do the same. Let's do it. And after that, the rest is history. After that, I took off. Khalif was right there with me the whole time from day one. And that's something that I always, I want to put out there. That's something that I always appreciate from this guy.
That's dope, man. And you started, when you started together, was it Alec or was it with?
No, we started in Easton. We were in the Easton.
Okay, so Larry
Holmes gym.
Word?
Yeah, Floyd was my trainer. He passed away.
I didn't even know. Crazy.
I used to pick him up. We scored on Easton.
I only remember him on Southside.
No, that was the second gym when we started doing. But the first gym, when we first started training, it was in Easton. We'll travel all the way down, back and forth. That's when Ramir and all those guys, we used to spar all the time. I punished a light heavyweight in there when I was young. I was like 160, 168. Like I said, he's the first guy that ever stunned me in the ring. And then I got stunned by a heavyweight in that gym, Easton gym. Yeah. I was sparring a heavyweight. I shouldn't have been sparring a heavyweight, but they had me in there with a big puncher. So
that's how it went, bro.
Yeah, you get a corner. I'm like, I could go out. I was out of that corner.
Get on the skates. Start running.
Yeah. So Ronald, I mean, you went through boxing. You fought the likes of Spence, Carmen Cintron. That's some big names out there. Yeah. Going through the ranks when you were fighting, what was the hardest thing about the sport of boxing to you?
The hardest thing?
I mean, it could be anything. You're training.
Tell the truth.
I'm Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah.
So the hardest thing gotta be the food and staying away from the chicharron. That was the hardest thing for me. I didn't have bad habits except for food. I wanted to eat the good food and all that.
You love to eat.
But like I said, that's it.
Just the
food. Everything else, of course, the training, intense training, running a bunch of miles a day. Mm-hmm. All that was a dream, man. I was living a dream. I was going out on, doing road work and sparring and training intensely. But I was living a dream. It was fun to me.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yo, I'll say this: Ron has a lot to do with this podcast even existing. Because when it first started, like me and Khalif, I met Khalif we still work at the same place, but I hear him talking boxing, and I'm thinking that I'm the only one at work that loves boxing the way that I love boxing. And then I hear Khalif talk about it, and then like he's going in depth. People just know the casual Tank Davises, the Floyd Mayweathers, but he was talking about guys that people weren't talking about. So I'm like, I'm gonna chop it up with this guy. Then we got to, talking, and then he's talking about, I want to start this podcast. I got 7 mics. I got all the equipment, this, that, and third.
Yeah.
And then I kind of blew it off because I'm like, 7 mics. I'm like, yo, don't nobody want to hear 7 people talking over each other like the whole time. So I kind of blew it off. But that's how Khalif is. Khalif is like very welcoming. Like he's very all into inclusion. Like he loves everybody. He wants to understand everybody. So, right away, he didn't even know me that long, and he was like, yo, I got this podcast, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, all right. Then he sends me to this WhatsApp group called Pound for Pound, Boxing Pound for Pound group. I get in there, and I'm like, they're talking boxing here and there. And then one time I see Ron Cruz show up. I'm like, hold up. Like Ron Cruz? And then that has like a little avatar, and I'm like, oh shit, that really is Ron Cruz. So, I'm paying more attention to the group and all that. And then next thing you know, I see Rick pull up in there, and I'm like, yo, I hit up Khalif next day at work. I'm like, yo, you know Rick? And he's like, yeah, you know Rick? I'm like, oh, we was flipping pizzas back in like 50 years ago, man. And like that's my man's. And then I started talking more. And then next thing you know, me and Khalif are going back and forth, of course, about Errol Spence and Crawford. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing I hear Ron Cruz come through with the voice message. He's like, yo, Khalif, Jabbar cooking you. He's like, yo, fight it back. You know what I mean? And then, he's like, Ron would try to stoke the fire. He's like, yo, I'm on the road right now. I'm bored, yo. He's like, hey, he'll try to, you know what I mean? And then Ron said that he's like, yo, Jabbar knows what he's talking about. And I always been like humble, especially when I'm around fighters. I try to, keep a low key because I was never professional. I was never, amateur. So, I stayed low. But when I got the okay from Ron, who, been through what he's been through, and he's like, yo, this kid knows what he's talking about. And then we're talking about the podcast. He's like, yo, y'all should fucking start that shit. And then that's when I really, because Rick was like, I talked to Rick about it, and Rick was like, yeah, let's do it. But then he's real busy. You know what I mean? Like, I would say, hey, let's do it at this time. And he's like, yeah, cool. But then, like, stuff would come up. And then the same thing with Khalif. And then, but when I got the okay from Ron, yo, they'll both tell you I was on that ass. I'm like, yo, let's go, let's do it. Like, we can do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? We got a dope engineer. Yep. We talk good. We know what the fuck we're talking about. And nobody's doing what we're doing. So, yo, real talk, we had a lot to do with this even happening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And another thing, too, I could bring up, too. So after, we started going into boxing, I started a job at Phillips Feed. That's when, I know Rick. See, me and Rick know each other back in the day, back in the break dancing. We used to pop and battle each other in the club. Yeah. He used to do the windmills and stuff on the ground and everything. But, so when I see Rick, I'm like, oh, yeah, what's going on? And, Rick always was someone that was hungry, too, And I started telling him about boxing. I started telling him about Ronald. I'm like, yo, man, that's my brother, man. Look, see how good he is. He's actually doing it. I'm here. I'm stuck here. And he's actually getting into it and all that. And I used to brag to him about you. All the time. And then that's when I merged y'all together. And that's where it's crazy how all life came from the Godfather, baby. Yeah. The Godfather started. The Godfather did it. Godfather locks. Godfather dreads. They put the dreads, take care of the dreads. Now look, it's together, baby. It's together.
You're gonna start capping now.
No cap. Let's get back to the interview with Ronald. So since you've been in the ring with Errol Spence, and the big question is always Errol versus Crawford. You've been in the ring with Earl Spence, okay? You fought him. He's the only guy that you went the distance with, right? Or one of them, not probably in that time, 12 fights, you're the only guy that took him to the distance, right? When you fought him?
I was the only guy
that went distance.
The first 10 rounds.
Yeah, I don't think he really went the distance before that.
He went the distance, yeah.
So you went in there with him. Your assessment of Crawford, Spence, you know how we always argue about it. You've been in the ring with one of them. You watched the other one. What's your take on that fight if that ever
Oh,
happens?
shit, we got into that real quick.
Yeah, we waste no time.
Yeah, we waste some time.
It's come up every episode.
Yeah. We have to. That's something that everybody got to answer.
Yo, and honestly, I wasn't even gonna bring it up. I'm like,
Yeah, I was under rock.
I was gonna just let that
No.
be, yo.
But he
Nah,
been
we
in.
but he
here
has
now,
to,
so
yeah.
Of course not. Shit. Damn. Like as you know, I picked Errol Spence before. I'm not gonna change up now.
Yeah.
I mean, I could because his lack of discipline, him blowing up in weight like that. I don't blame him for moving up to 154 because he's been in that 147 for his whole career.
Long time.
So I'm not gonna blame him for doing that. But we see him in pictures. We see him, blow, like he blows up in weight too much. He looks damn near 200 right now.
Yeah.
Or not right now. We've seen him look up.
We seen him big.
So that affects a fighter, especially in his 30s. You know that affects a fighter a whole lot. Him moving up in weight like that and then coming down. How strong is he gonna be? So he's probably gonna. To me, he's gonna look strong and he's gonna look good at 154. But how much of that he still has? Like he can't abuse his body for too long. You know, he's 32.
Yeah. Crawford's 34. 34.
Yeah, blowing up like that and then doing those weight cuts like that, it's gonna take his toll.
So to me, he's gonna have to. We'll see Errol Spence gonna speak for another 2 or 3 more years, maybe less. You know him. You know we've seen Crawford in his speak for a long time now. But going back to who would win right now, I still pick Errol Spence at 154 because I don't even think Errol Spence is gonna move back down to 147.
That's where I'm at too.
I don't think he can make. It's possible for him to make that weight no more. So I still pick Errol Spence. He's stronger. He's been at that weight cut for a long time, his whole career. At 154, we've seen Crawford get hurt before. I don't know if we've seen Errol get rocked like that.
Porter fight. Porter fight is probably one of the only.
He didn't
times.
go down,
but we've seen him.
He did get wobbled though.
Like
You think
flash, like rock. Not like
his
his
fight
didn't
I
go.
can't remember that name.
Yeah, but that could be debatable.
Because it
'cause
don't exist.
that could be we could debate on that because if we
I
watch
think-
the video and you look at his body and how if he really wobbled, I don't know if he, that could be debatable if he really got hurt with that punch.
I mean, you rocked him in 10. Tell the truth. I mean, you had your points in that. You had your moments in that fight. Where you
Yeah, I
rocked
think the
Spence.
first round you touched Spence with a good
You
shot.
had-
where he
You
nodded
had
and-
Spence where he was feeling the shot. It wasn't something where it was like he just walked through and it was like nothing. It was like,
That was in the first round. That's where I had like the best of me, and I hit him with some good shots. And Khalif pointed me out to some shots that I hit him with in the first round. That he nodded his head. So like after I hit him with a good shot, he nodded. I didn't even know it. I didn't even notice in the fight. I didn't notice Khalif.
You'll never remember
He
that.
Nah,
I
I
hit him
definitely
with a good
noticed
shot.
that.
He nodded. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that because I was watching at my friend's house, and he was like, "Yo, Spence is gonna knock him out." I'm like, "Yo,
You don't know Ron.
you don't know Ron. Like, he ain't going
You don't
down,
know
bro.
Ron,
He's not gonna get stopped. If he goes down, he's gonna get up. He's gonna finish that fight. He definitely finish that shit.
Yeah.
But if you can change something, if you can go back and change something in your career, right? One thing, what would that one thing be?
Shit.
That's a great question, yeah.
What?
It's
Yes,
always
that is a great question.
It's always a great question, yeah.
Because what I'm not gonna put all the blame on it, but I think what messed up my career was my eye injury. It's something that nobody knows though, except for like my close people. I got my first retinal detachment surgery in 2012. That's something that I hid from the world. I didn't want nobody to know. So what I said, I said I had a hernia surgery or something like that, but it was a lie. I had my first retinal detachment surgery in 2012.
Yeah.
I basically stopped boxing for like a whole year, no boxing, and then came back. And then, I had my retinal detachment surgery, second retinal detachment surgery in 2014, which was my last, after that I was retired. But what I would say is just take care of my eye health. So you young fighters coming up, take care of your health, take care especially your eyes, because retinal detachment surgery is a common injury for boxers. So, you know, take care of our eye health. Go to your eye doctor. You know, check your eye health. You know, make sure that you're good in that, because that's something that I would change. You know? I would make sure my eye is good.
What was the first one? The first one was from a fight or from training?
It was in training.
Yeah, see, that's okay. Because I remember because I was with Ronald in these camps, and it's crazy because I'm an MMA guy. I'm an MMA guy, and I'm going to the gym to work with Ronald and Indio, and literally I'm the only one there for Ronald some days. So literally Ronald was getting rounds, Ronald was kicking my ass. And I'm like this MMA guy that's just right in front of his face. I'm trying to do the best I can, and Ronald was literally just like wearing me out, bro. And it was always to the body. It was always to the body because he knew that MMA guys are square, they're open, they keep their bodies open. And yeah, I remember that with Ronald. But I do remember those camps where I think we were in Phoenixville, and you were getting ready for something, and you were telling me, you were like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna take time off, and it's because of you told me because of the injury, and you were like, yo, we're not gonna say that. I said, yeah, obviously you don't want the public to know. Right. You don't want people in boxing to know that you have the eye injury, because once you have that eye injury, it's like, now I attack that. Yeah. I'm constantly going after. Look what happened with Cotto and Margarito. Exactly. Cotto knew Margarito had that, you know, that fracture. He had the fracture, and he went right after it, and that's how he got stopped in that second fight. So I get it why not put it out there. So the first one was from the injury in training, and the second one was from an actual fight, or
in the fight.
My
last fight ever. Like, yeah, it was gonna happen in the 5th round. I got hit with a jab, and all of a sudden I saw the same symptom when I saw when it first happened before my first surgery. So when I'm fighting in my last actual fight, this is my last fight as a professional. I'm fighting this guy. He hits me with a jab where it just scraped my right eye. All of a sudden I see a black shadow covering like almost half of my vision. Jeez. Right away I knew, it was like, yo, again, right in the middle of the fight. And wow, yeah. So that was it, man. After that,
it's like fighting with one eye.
Yeah,
it's fighting with one eye.
The fight was stopped. I forgot what round it was. The corner noticed something wrong. Noticed I wasn't seeing shots coming at me. So you're taking too many shots. I'm begging the guy to not stop. I'm begging my corner.
We're on the shield.
Don't stop the fight.
You were with Billy?
Yeah,
Billy Brisk?
Yeah, that was my last fight. So at the time, my mind was like, this is my last fight. So I wanted one more round. I'm like, in the corner, like you can see in YouTube, there's a clip where the whole fight is on YouTube. And towards the end of the fight, when Billy's like, I'm gonna stop the fight, I'm begging this guy, I don't stop the fight, because I knew that was gonna be my last fight ever.
You know it was gonna be it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
he stopped it, you know, he was
of course out of protection. You know, we've had that conversation here before with like trainers and coaches, and how important it is to like have enough care for your fighter to know better to protect them and not allow them to continue on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to watch sometimes when you see fighters just get sent out and they're not in good shape, you know. And you're letting them go out there. You're sending them out, my God, like feeding sheep to the wolves. Like, it's just like, yo, you're just sending them for the killing, yo. And I don't know. With me as a coach, like, I can never allow that.
Like Ryan De La Santo.
Yeah.
I mean, he was beating them all around the ring.
Yeah.
The corner would not stop. The ref had to go in there and be like, yo, like, that's enough. You know?
Yeah.
He was still standing up, but it was like he was out on his feet and his corner would not stop the fight. And the ref had to come in there and jump in.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It happens a lot though. That's how people die in the ring. So
yeah, and we don't want to. Us as I know me as a coach, you as a coach, like I can't live with that.
Yeah.
Like I want my fighter to fight on their shield and give me everything they got, but I cannot live with the fact that I sent them out there and I'm like the cause of them being seriously injured or possibly dying. Like I couldn't live with that.
They're warriors, so they're gonna continue to fight.
Of course, we're gonna fight to the death.
You know, we know our fighters and we know their body language, and if they're not performing, it's no sense taking that punishment.
No sense.
So you can live another day and fight another day.
Fight another day.
Ronald, when you were younger, you got also hurt by a BB gun, right?
Yeah.
So you want to explain this to?
Yeah, that's basically how my my eye was a little more weak than a normal guy would be because when I was 13 years old, I got shot with a BB pellet in my right eye. I was playing basketball. All of a sudden, these guys are playing with a BB pellet shotgun, and they just shot the shotgun out. I'm playing basketball. All of a sudden, I felt something like sting my eye, and I got into surgery after that. I was 13 years old at the time.
Yeah.
But I was lucky. It was a miracle that he didn't pop my eyeball out like that.
Yeah.
When he hit me from the side, they just cleaned my eye up, and after that my eye was not as strong as a normal guy would be to everybody else.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So which victory gives you the most pride? Like when you look back on your career, you're like, damn, I'm really proud of this. You know what I'm saying? Like.
There's two actually, because when I fought Jeremy Bryan, who was a 2-time national Golden Glove champion, and boxing writers was saying, everybody was saying that I was gonna lose. That they were telling my team like, why would you put Ronald in there? Like, are you trying to get him retired? Things like that.
Yeah.
And I ended up stopping the guy. It was in his hometown in New Jersey. He was from Atlantic City. And it was a big victory. It was a big excitement for me that night. And then the second one was my first fight ever in Bethlehem.
That was about to,
That was
funny. I was about to go.
Yeah,
I was about to go there.
That was history. It's like
Yeah.
this is.
Yep.
I remember
First,
that, bro. It was like
in the
Christmas.
tent.
It was like a holiday season because it was like, yo, Ron Cruz bringing the you know what I'm saying, like
Boxing in Lehigh Valley.
Yeah, to the Lehigh Valley when
We had
nobody
nothing.
was doing that.
We
You
had
know what I'm
nothing.
saying? Like that's when I really, really, really heard about you is when you brought it back to the Lehigh Valley, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think was it American Top Team?
What's that? Well, that's when we were back in American Top Team at the time.
Were you?
Nah, he wasn't a part of that. Nah.
Oh, yeah.
Nope. Nah, he was
Yeah,
doing
but
his
nah,
own
he
thing with
was-
Indio at the time.
Yeah, but he definitely put on though. I remember that shit.
Yeah, most definitely. I remember because it was outside with Will Miranda, the heavyweight. It was you and him that were kind of like the local stars. That
I
bring
think
out the show.
Arturo Trujillo. I think he was in there.
Arturo
Did
was
he
there.
fight?
Did he? He did a debut that day.
I think.
Saul and Arturo.
Arturo did a debut.
I think he did.
Oh wow.
I don't know if he debuted that night. I think he did.
Okay. I felt like for some reason it was just you and Miranda, and he was just like watching
Oh, yeah?
and set up his debut.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Maybe I'm
sure.
wrong. Yeah. I don't know.
But I remember you were outside in that tent. That's all I remember. It was the middle of the summer.
Yes,
You
sir.
were outside in the tent. They had ACs inside the tent to make sure
Yeah.
it was cool in there because it was hot. It was hot as balls. It was crazy hot out there, and they were like, "Yeah, we got these tent. We got the ACs running inside this tent because it was like the event center wasn't there yet. So you would walk into the casino, and it was like off to the right. I remember it was like by like the old burger place and food court over there, whatever it was. But I remember going off to the right, and it was like outside, and they had like the tent set up, man. Damn, that's before that's before the event center, man.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll tell you how that started was my promoter at the time was Russell Peltz.
I was saying, was it because of him?
And the owner of the casino at the time was Bob DeSalvio. I still remember his name. So Russell Peltz and Bob DeSalvio, they had done business before in Atlantic City and in Vegas. They had done business before. So when Russell Peltz, he found out Bob DeSalvio is the owner of the casino. He hooked up with him. The event center wasn't even open yet. Like you said, it was a big tent. And he said, Russell brought the idea to Bob. He said, there's a local fighter from Bethlehem. We can see if we can, if we can fill up the tent. It was the tent filled 2,500 people in there, and so basically it was like a seed they planted. Let's see if it grows.
Yeah.
Let's see if it grows. And
It was a test there. It was a test run
Yeah,
to see
it
if
was
they
a
could
test.
really bring fights to the casino.
yeah, so the place sold out quick. Indio was out there selling tickets like it was bread. Like,
He was hustling.
And that thing just sold fast. It was. I would say it was a teamwork. Indio was doing the hustle.
He always
selling
does.
tickets.
He always does. Yeah.
Russell knew the owner of the casino, and then just me grinding in the gym.
Yeah.
Well, everybody always had a lot of respect for you. You know what I mean? Out here, especially back
Oh
home.
yeah.
That's why when you headline, it was like,
Dude,
you're the man to go
yeah,
to.
yeah.
It used to be so impressive. It used to be nuts, and it used to be like motivating for me as a fighter, a local fighter. I'm like, damn, dude, I gotta live up to this. Like, I gotta live, and this is something I want to ask for Ronald, because we both fought in the event center. And like the way we fill out that place, and you would just hear like such the passionate fans behind Ronald, and to see people really behind him, supporting him, and it was just such a dope thing to see. And obviously I'm really proud of you and your career and everything you did for boxing and honestly in combat sports in the Lehigh Valley in Bethlehem, because you're the start and the reason that we're having MMA events, we're having boxing events at that event center. It's because of you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I do thank you, and it was always a pleasure and an honor to be a training partner of yours. And just to have your knowledge and your wisdom, and you just by you kicking my ass, like you were just literally helping me more than I think that you knew. It was always dope to have you around. So for my question is, for you to be always that main headliner at home and filling out that event center, did it put really pressure on you at all? Or was it something where you were just able to just go fight your fight because you love fighting? You love boxing?
First of all, let me thank you for your words like that. I appreciate that a lot. That's real shit. But like I said, boxing, like I've said in the beginning, boxing was my life. It was a passion. It was a dream that I was living. So like training in the gym, being in the gym all the time, it was my life. Like I said, it was my life. And then going into under the right lights, getting in there, it was a dream. I was having fun. It was fun until that first surgery. After that first surgery, it just changed my whole mindset. Like I knew that my eye was in danger. It just changed my whole style. It even changed my style. Like if you watch me before, prior to the surgery, and then after the surgery, I was a different fighter. I became more defensive. I started more blocking shots.
You're more cautious.
And I ended up taking more shots because I was just more
high guard.
You're more cautious.
Yeah,
high guard. Just eat a little more.
Yeah. But you're answering your question. There was no pressure at all at first. There was no pressure. It was like I said, I was living a dream. I was living a dream. It was
like even filling out that place the way you did. Like you never had that.
I would lie, tell the truth. I would lie if I say no pressure. But
it was never something.
It was never something I couldn't handle.
Yeah, you were ready for it. You were ready.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, like when we were fighting in the streets, like you had to be ready for it. You know what I mean? Like we're just challenging anybody.
Yeah.
So I mean, like
that's
under the light. Yeah, I know.
That's
under the lights.
Like
under
fighting
the lights.
the street is just me saying what's up, and I'm gonna see you. Boom, and that's what it is.
No, but
when you're there, there's
I'm saying
so
the point
many
is,
different eyes on you. You know what
I'm saying, but the point, like with the eyes, like we used to in the streets, there used to be a group of people. There used to be a lot of people watching. It wasn't just like 2-3 people there. We used to have crowds when we used to fight.
But this is NBC Sports. This is like televised events.
I know. So I mean, but this
Showtime,
is something that he was already like
bred for.
Yeah, like
prepared
so
for.
Like he never ducked no smoke. I mean, when it came down to crunch time, let's get you out there. He was ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just something that you cut with. So
yeah,
it was just in him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said,
it didn't matter what it was.
Before the surgery, the pressure I was able to handle all the pressure. After the surgery, it was just added pressure to what it already was.
Yeah.
It was just added a lot more pressure after the surgery.
Yeah.
Going into in front of the cameras, in front of the big crowd, and on top of that, I had the eye injury.
And you're thinking about your eye, and you're not able to fight to your ability in a sense because you're constantly thinking like, I gotta watch. So if I can hit that eye again, it's a possibility.
My vision was affected.
Yep.
I'm not putting that as an excuse.
No, never that.
Like,
but it's something.
I still gave my best. I tried. I always, put my heart on my sleeve. I always fought and always gave the crowd a big, exciting fight. But I'm not gonna put that as an excuse because look at we were just talking about Earl Spence. He had the same surgery. Reynolds had the surgery. He came back and beat the shit out of Ugas.
Yeah.
He needed eye surgery after that.
Fracture oral, fracture.
Abner Mares too. He fought again recently. He had a
And he had a good performance.
Good showing.
And
Yeah.
so did if we go back, so did Sugar Ray Leonard. After he had his first renal attachment surgery, he came right back and fought Marvin Hagler. That's
Monster.
Yeah.
Monster.
And he beat him.
Face. Yeah, I know.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Ronald, so throughout boxing, you sparred a lot of champions. I know Danny Garcia was one of them. Mike Jones.
Mike Jones.
Yeah.
That's a name drop right
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Wow. Everybody forgets about Mike
Yeah,
Jones.
yeah, yeah.
Dude, he is
So give us. You think about it, right?
No, I'm thinking about it now.
Yeah,
Because
like
Mike Jones,
yeah.
because Mike Jones was like the main guy at 147
yeah.
at one point. Yo, everybody was talking about Mike Jones.
Yes, sir.
And then all of a sudden that just got forgotten once he got rocked on TV. He had no
Yeah.
legs under
Randall Bailey, right?
Randall Bailey. I was talking to
Randall
the
Bailey.
Randall Bailey just
Yeah.
stole his dream away. Yeah.
He's a good puncher too himself, though. Randall Bailey,
Bailey,
dangerous puncher. Yeah.
Really big puncher. Yeah.
You know, I would love to see
So-
like the rounds that he had with Mike
With
Jones.
Mike Jones.
Yeah.
So I'm back to your question. What
Yeah, I was saying you've been sparring some top champions and stuff. So sparring, but who was like you say like the best sparring you got out of all the pros you faced?
That's another good question.
That is, yeah.
Because right away the first name that came up was Julian Williams.
J-Rock. J-Rock. Shout out to Philly.
I was fighting at 147. He was at 154, and I always like every single guy I sparred with. Like I'm not gonna say I got the best of them, but it was always a real good back and forth. And even with J-Rock himself, it was always a good back and forth. But I always felt like he was just ahead of me in things because he was at 151. He was bigger. He was fast. He knew how he moved. He used the ring. He was a really good boxer, good jab. Like he had everything. And I always felt like he gave me a lot of problems in the ring, just because of that. He was bigger, he was taller, he was stronger, bigger guy, speed. He was a full package. So yeah, J-Rock. Shout out J-Rock.
Shout out, yeah, you already know.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if he's retired. He hasn't fought in a long time.
Yeah, he hasn't fought in some time, man. And I just been seeing
He's a
him.
really good boxer.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, I boxed. I sparred. Danny, Mike Jones, a lot of good names. Even Demetrius Hopkins.
Yeah, Demetrius, I remember that.
Not Jerron Ennis, they're brothers.
Farah Ennis, I remember.
Not Farah was bigger.
He would help you. Yeah. He did help me too. He helped me there, but.
Derek Ennis.
Derek.
Who Ennis? He was really, really talented. But J-Rock was pretty much the guy that gave me more problems.
I do remember that, yeah. I remember going the one time because I was just tagging along and trying to just see if maybe I can get work with them. I'm like, I'm going to Philly, maybe I get some work. And I went with them when he was going to spar J-Rock, and I felt like J-Rock gave you like 5 rounds or 6 rounds, and then India was like, go ahead, get a couple rounds with Ron, I'll help him out. Like, he just needs to sweat, so go in there and get some extra rounds with him. But I remember watching him with J-Rock, man, and it was like, damn, bro, like you can pay for this. You can pay for this. Like, this is high level boxing, man. Dude, you were in your prime.
There was a lot of that.
You were in your prime. Like, Ronald was a machine. Like,
a lot of people don't know like how strong and like I was in there with you. Well, see, the thing is, when we fought, I don't even think we wore hand wraps. We just put hands on our gloves. So I felt his full power. That's why I said it. Like I've been in there against a lot of big punchers. Never been phased. He's the first guy ever. I'm mixing it with him, and he hits me, and everything goes black. And he hits me again. I'm like, oh shit! I'm right back in here. I'm fighting. Tell the truth. So I had to always get that command. Like, damn, I got cracked with a good shot, and we went at it, and then instantly, like, I was like, right after that, we hugged and everything. I'm like, yo, man, like,
respect,
brother, bro,
respect,
brother. It just every time we see each other. You know what I mean? That's what it was, just the blood bond. Like, this is not my friend. This is my brother.
Yeah.
Like, I would do anything for him. He knows that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He always been there for me. And I'm just glad that, that's how we met. I mean, we met in war, but
now we met in the sport of boxing, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what brought you together, boxing.
Yeah, and
it created these relationships.
The nickname, you remember the Cobra? Alex, I gave you the Cobra. Yo, man. If you never had that eye injury, I think, because Mayweather was number 1 and you were like number 10.
My man was
Number
top
10
10.
in the
My man was
world.
in the top 15 in the mix. I remember.
You know what I mean?
The names on those
Ronald
lists.
was creeping up on them.
Keith Thurman being a part of that.
Yeah, Thurman was there.
Andre Berto being a part of that.
Yeah,
you
you were
in the
right
mix.
there.
All that.
He was right
Top
there.
of Keith Thurman.
And I always
No
said
hairline.
to myself, if that injury never happened, where would you really been? You know what I'm saying? Because you had the power, you had the speed, you know, toughness. I mean,
Hard edge. Just
I think you would have been, you know, and that tells me too. Like, if I would have been able to have my life kind of have more, like, have a family that was actually there and supportive,
Yeah.
I could have had that same dream. I mean, Ronald would say you had all the tools to be pro. So,
Of course.
So it just, you know,
But life,
I lived, y'all like kind of lived my dream, which I wanted, but I'm just grateful to be a part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to watch it, and you had a great career. You know, everyone you faced.
He's a genuine guy, so I want to ask too. If you never had that injury, you probably would have ran up against. Should I ask about Mayweather?
Yeah.
Do you think that you would have no eye injury, 100% health, a good camp? I didn't have to kill myself to make weight. Floyd Mayweather, MGM Grand, sold out. Who wins?
Talking about myself. Well, if you would have asked me before when I was fighting, I would have been like, I'm gonna be in it all up on this guy. I'm gonna give him a good fight. If I ain't winning, I'm gonna make sure, you know, that was my mentality before. That's me being a fighter, and it was true. You know, I would have been all upon him. I would have gave my all. But like, if you ask me right now, Mayweather, he was on another level. Like right now, I'm just being real, tell the truth.
yeah.
He, you know, he would have schooled me probably. He would have schooled me, but I definitely would have not stopped me. He would have knocked me out. He wasn't gonna knock me out. But he would have schooled me. He's on another level when it comes to IQ and what he does in the ring. He's definitely a master.
Do you think that you would have stopped or beat one of the top welterweights at that time? Like if you were, say he was 10 at one point, right?
That's the
I
question.
swore you were 10 at one point. What was the top 10?
Yeah.
So the rest of the who was Thurman? Was
Thurman.
Thurman?
Thurman was like below her.
Yeah,
Thurman was
Thurman
below
was
him.
like 13 or 12 at the time.
And Berto was above you, I think.
And Berto would
have been a good.
That would have been a great fight, yo. Or Victor Ortiz. You know what I'm saying?
Victor Ortiz was like number 3, something like that.
That's those. You think about it. Him in the mix, like the Andre Berto, Victor Ortiz war that they had. Imagine it was Ronald.
Yeah.
Ronald would have been in war with
Now,
Victor
if
Ortiz.
you ask me
and
about
his
Victor
jaw.
Ortiz or Berto, even till today, I think
sold.
I would have beaten
I think
both
he
of them.
would've sold.
Yeah.
I think you would have. Tell the truth.
Especially
Berto.
Oh, I was gonna say Ortiz.
No, because Berto.
Nah. I agree with him.
Ortiz was tough.
Berto.
Ortiz had a better chin, I think, as well. Berto didn't have a really good chin.
Nah, I mean Berto don't like pressure.
Nope.
You put pressure on Berto.
Yeah. Don't like pressure, but he'll fire in the
He'll
exchange
fire,
with
but he don't like
but he
pressure.
doesn't like it. Yeah.
I mean, look what Guerrero did to him.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
bullied him.
Yeah. We look at the
It's
ghosts.
Ortiz?
No,
Berto. Yeah.
Roberto.
He beat-
Robert
Guerrero.
Robert Guerrero. Yeah.
Mhm.
The ghost. Yeah.
Yeah, the ghost. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Now that he said that, now I'm thinking in my head, because I think we asked like kind of who do you like something that you regret in your career. Is there any matchup that you wish you would have had when you were in that mix of like top 15, top 10? Because I feel like we've had this conversation and I honestly tell the truth. We used to always talk about Keith Thurman and we always used to talk about how I was never impressed with Keith Thurman. I'm sorry. Tell the truth. I'm sorry. I was never really that impressed with Keith Thurman.
Keith fought everybody though.
I'm just saying he probably has, but there's something about him that doesn't like spark like, yo, you're this great.
Who didn't Keith fight?
I'm not saying he didn't. I'm not saying he dunked anybody. I'm not saying anything like that.
Yeah, like, he's never been a fighter.
I just look at him and I don't see anything impressive. So when it was discussed, like Ronald, we were training together, and it was like, yo, like there's a possibility I might fight Keith Thurman. I'm like, yo, I would love that fight. I think you would. I thought Ronald would stop Keith Thurman. So my question to Ronald is there? Body. And Ronald was a body snatcher. That's why I was like, yo, you will stop Keith Thurman. And I'm not even. Yeah, I'm an MMA guy, so I'm like, I don't know boxing, right? But at the time, I'm like, yo, like the way you're rocking me to the body, yo, you hit Thurman like that, it's over. But my question is, You know, is there a matchup that you wish that you would have had that you didn't get when you were in that mix of top 10, top 15?
I can't think of like a specific one, but I would say, you know, it's Thurman, Porter, Madanagi, Berto, like all
Madanagi! That was another cooker.
You would have
Boy.
definitely cooked him.
Yeah.
You would have cooked him.
And to be honest with you, you just said another name that I know. Like, oh, I just thought about
Porter.
Yeah, you
Porter.
said Porter too. I think Porter just aggressive, but if you have a good style, you can neutralize Porter. You know, he's not the best boxer.
A fight with Porter would have been great for my career because
Catapult.
win or lose that fight, I would have won because that would have been a war. It would have been a really exciting fight. Because Porter always brings. Yeah, I'll give him that credit. He always brings it. And he always gives us an exciting fight, and so did I at the time, or so did I. So that would have definitely been fireworks.
Yeah,
people would have loved that fight. That would have put my name. Win or lose, that would have put my name out there.
Yeah. So with the Porter fight, you know, that would have been like a great one for you. How do you feel about that whole situation at the time when you were getting matched up with Cintron? And I know I was in camp with that one too, and we were back and forth in Reading, and we were doing our thing with the training camp. You know, is there anything with that you felt was going to catapult you with that matchup, or was it just something you were just like, yo, I want that fight, and I think Cintron's a big opportunity for me to really get my career farther or something like that? Like, with that fight, what was the approach and what was the thought process behind that matchup with you versus Cintron?
Yeah, when I fought Cintron, I had 2 losses.
Great fight, by the way.
It was
a
after
close,
the surgery.
questionable fight.
It was close, yeah.
Yep.
It was after the surgery. I had 2 losses. I was basically trying to make my name go on top again. You know, put my name out there again. So my thought was like, if I beat Cintron, that would definitely put my name. Cintron's a big name. I would have definitely put my name out there. But it didn't happen that way. At the time, I thought I had won the fight when I fought Cintron. But if like today, being more level-headed or looking at the fight more, that was a really close fight.
Really close fight.
That was really
close.
So it wasn't like I could never say, I won that fight.
It went either way.
It was 96, 94 on all the cards. And he basically, like, I thought I was more gifted. I thought I had more than him, but he had that experience.
You had the youth. You had the youth at the time.
Yeah, at the time.
But he was a veteran. But it was a great fight. But he was a veteran.
But he had the experience where he kind of schooled me because he kept the fight at a distance. Kept from the outside, he would hit and then clinch.
Clinch, way on you.
He could be a lot bigger.
And that's something that was the first time I ever saw that. A guy with experience would just box, hit and then clinch. And you know, I didn't win. I lost.
Do you think like the way that you trained then? Do you think if you trained differently, you would have had different results? Like say, damn, I wish I would have lifted more. You know what I'm saying? So I have more strength when I sat down on my punches or anything like that. Or do you think your training was just fine?
Nah, at the time when I fought Cintron,
You were made strength conditioning with Craig Merritt.
I was doing really good. The strength conditioning training, I was running. I was doing everything right. With training, I was doing everything.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, top favorite fighters of all time. I want to know that. I want to know your top.
That's always one of the main things.
Yeah, I always
we want to know.
Favorite. It don't matter when in the sport. Just top favorite fighters that you admired or you watched or.
And that was top 10, top 5.
You talking about like personal preference?
Yeah,
or
personal preference.
Or just
not what they
who
do.
I think is the best.
No. Who you
Your personal preference.
Your favorite.
I mentioned Trinidad is my idol. You know, that's like if I say
He's a legend.
If I say that was my personal preference, but I say who I think is the best, I wouldn't put him up there. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tito Trinidad was one of my favorites. So many Camacho, you know me.
Camacho, that's a name you don't hear often.
He was a showman.
Camacho, oh my God, yeah, entertainer.
Hector Camacho, he was a showman.
R.I.P.
Of course, Mike Tyson. Everybody loves Mike Tyson.
Who doesn't love Mike?
But these are all names that I would not.
He's a hater.
No, I like Mike, but like I already told you, I think on episode 1, the reason why I don't like Mike because he's a hater. He hates on
Floyd? On the GOAT?
Hates on Floyd, bro. What
Hates on the GOAT.
You know what I mean? Come on, bro. Don't hate on the GOAT. The GOAT always give you credit, man.
Yeah.
Don't hate on the GOAT.
Yeah.
Well, that's two. We said 2. Hector Camacho,
Trinidad, Mike
Tyson.
Of a personal preference like that, I don't know. But if you ask me, like, who do I think is the best?
Okay, then how about that? 5 of the best right now.
Right now?
Current. Yeah, let's do current.
Yeah, let's do current, yeah.
Of course, Earl Spence, Crawford, of course, they gotta be in there. Why do people hate on Tyson Fury so much? Like, motherfucker's gifted.
They don't know shit about boxing. That's what it is.
I've never seen a big ass heavyweight like that move like that. Nah.
So he's number 3.
And you got a chin.
Tyson Fury will be. I don't miss anybody, but yeah, I would put Tyson Fury number 3. Damn.
There's a lot of good fighters. You know,
There is a lot in the mix.
Yeah, so many.
You know, world champs, non-world champs. You know, we talk all the time about Frank
Of
Mara.
course, Boots,
You know what I'm saying?
man.
Boots, you know.
His skills.
That's mentioned every episode. Boots.
Yeah.
That kid's the
Yeah.
real deal, man. I can't wait till we get him.
He's the true package. You got everything.
We got everything.
Yeah.
There's one more. I got one more. Current.
Shit. No, I don't want to say music.
He's a good fighter.
Usyk is good.
Yeah.
There's Ryan. There's Tank.
I mean, you moved up to yeah. Well, yeah.
There's so
We
many
gotta see him,
fighters.
man.
So many Tank.
Ryan.
Would I say Tank or Haney?
Yeah, huh?
Tank
Yeah.
or Haney?
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
well, that's always a thing I feel like that's talked about too, because you know we're all obviously fans of Tank, but I think I don't know that Haney is so good, but I just think where Tank and him separate is just that dog, like just that toughness, and I think I'm not saying Haney ain't tough. I'm not saying Haney ain't tough.
Yeah.
I'm just saying Tank is that
I
dog.
think what it is, man, what fucked Haney up is we saw him hurt. Like I thought Haney was the man. I thought
Untouchable.
nobody can touch Haney until Leonardo touched him. And the thing is like it's boxing. We all know everybody can touch. Sooner or later, somebody gonna touch him. We saw what Mosley did to Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? Like Rick just showed me that the other day. I didn't even know he got wobbled that many times. So you showed me again. I'm
Bro,
like,
who,
damn,
Mayweather?
Yeah.
Mosley, yeah,
You
bro.
only got wobbled twice in the second round.
And how many times have we seen him wobble though?
Yeah, against Chop Cordy, he got wobbled.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Chop.
I mean, he did. Well, Mosley's a full-fledged welterweight. He's a big.
I understand that, but Mayweather is
How
so
often-
good.
How often have we seen him?
We would see him go against elite talent and just completely look what he did
We
to
gonna bring our
Canelo.
That's what I'm
episode
saying.
up. We gonna bring our episode up, and I'm gonna pinpoint. Remember, I showed you when Mayweather hurt Mosley back, round 5. I'm gonna show y'all that.
Yeah, but we're used to Mayweather hurting people. We're just not used to seeing the
Mayweather
same
getting
happen to
touched.
him.
Oh,
I remember when he
that
fought
was-
Cotto and Cotto made him bleed. I never seen Mayweather bleed
No, I seen him bleed, but
like that.
it was a
He had him leaking.
it was a nosebleed.
You know what I'm saying? Like
That was a good fight, too.
I
I
never
love
seen
that
it
fight.
happen. You know what I'm
Great
saying?
fight.
But back to Haney. When we talk about the Shakurs, when we talk about the Tanks, when we talk about the Lomas, when we talk about whoever T.O. You know what I'm saying? Even though T.O. lost, but for a while there, Haney got moved to like the bottom of the pack because he had got hurt, and then you saw Leonardo lead him back to his corner. You know what I mean? And that's why now when we talk about Haney, it's like, oh, well, I think Shakur is better. Oh, I think Tank is better because you're seeing him hurt. If you ask me at the 135 division, let's not even talk about who has a better resume. Let's not even go there.
I'm not even
Let's
arguing. The point is, I wasn't even arguing. But the reality is, I'm just saying,
We're just talking.
Linares is a dangerous fighter for a lot of
course.
guys. I mean, Devin Haney beat Jojo Diaz, who was not.
But
easy.
that's what I mean. But that's not. I'm not hating on Haney. I understand what I'm looking at, and Haney is elite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's
Because
we know that
Unified.
he got
unified
a weaker chin.
it's like it's the same effect that Luke Campbell had, right? When Luke Campbell sat
Ryan
down.
down, then but people, that's all people remember is that,
Of course.
he sat up. You don't remember how he got up and knocked him out.
Nope, facts.
And then when Leonarez hurt Haney, people don't remember
the
that.
whole
Leading up to
schooling.
that, before he hurt him,
He was
he was putting
dominating.
a clinic on him.
And even after that, he got
And then after he came back from getting
it
hurt,
still
and then he
does.
put a clinic on him again.
But like, you're right, but it still does put, like, you're right, because it does put a question mark on Haney. Because just because of the fact that it was in the last, like, 5 seconds of the round, he got clipped, and then
What could have happened?
Everybody see the
what would have
legs.
happened if that would have been,
30 seconds left, a minute left.
Or,
You know what I'm saying?
They
More
say the
time
same
left
thing
around.
when Floyd got caught by Madonna right at the end.
Yeah.
Of the,
Yes.
hit to it with the big right hand.
Uh-huh.
And he went to the ropes. He came back strong next round. But like, what if it was 30 more seconds?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, there was more
Maidana
time.
got a whole nother fight and a whole nother check because of that.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, he hurt him,
He's
him."
got a
And then,
chance.
he got a whole nother check because of that.
No. Because that when he hit him with that big shot, that was the second fight.
Yeah, it was
It was the second fight.
Oh, okay.
So
You know,
then what?
That's how much I studied it.
What I'm
So
saying,
then-
what I'm saying is like, so what made it happen? The first fight to happen again?
It's because of the
close.
aggression.
that was a closer fight.
It was the aggression that Madonna put on
Okay.
Floyd.
I'm
That
just
was
And
a
they
way
wanted
closer
him to
fight.
lose so bad. they
Of
wanted
course.
to lose so
But
bad.
that was a lot closer fight. The second fight, he scraped Mayweather.
Yeah,
he scraped him.
The first
Mayweather
one was
scraped him.
In the second.
Yeah, you said you scraped Mayweather. Like, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
Clean that
my
up.
bad.
Clean
My
that
bad.
up.
Yeah.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. Yeah, clean it.
First
Clean
fight
that
was
one
close.
What a
First fight
proof
was close.
Sweep it up.
But the second fight, I think he scraped him.
Yeah, Floyd.
Yeah.
What I'm
Floyd
saying
touched
is,
him up, man.
word, but yo, Ron, let me ask you about this, right? Because the WBC is tricky, right? You've seen the other episodes, right? Now I'm talking about how they're letting this guy fight at
Earl Spence.
54, right? When the mandate is at 47, right? What do you think about how they're talking about they don't want this unification fight with Bivol and Beterbiev because of the
WBC.
war going? Like, come on.
I find
What
that
is it?
even hard to believe, bro. What kind of shit is that?
WBC?
Yeah, like you've been letting Beterbiev fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If Bivol lives in California, he wasn't even born in Russia.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right.
so why are you even blocking that? You're talking about, oh, Beterbiev got a mandatory with so and so. Last time I checked,
Smith or whatever.
tell me, I'm not the professional, so you tell me, doesn't undisputed trump mandatory?
Sorry. Say it again.
Like if you have a chance, like if one fighter has 2 belts, say he has 2 belts, and the other fighter has 2 belts, but they have mandatories, man, fuck that mandatory.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Undisputed.
you're right about that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, unite them
You know
belts.
that.
You pay the what is it called?
Sanction fee.
No, not the sanction fee. You buy them out. What is it? It's not buyout though. It's
Step aside one.
step aside. You pay them step
Oh,
aside money,
Mhm.
and you start fighting. And then now the WBC, I don't know what they've been on the last couple of months, but it's crazy,
Yeah.
bro. You don't gotta fight your mandatories at the designated weight, and we don't want undisputed fights to happen.
Right.
So let me just get your
That's the
what you think about
that's
that.
the positive. Positive.
Like I said, it's like things like that. I don't even look into. Like I just find things like that hard to believe. Like why can't just fighters, fight each other without all this business side, all this business talk and shit? Like to me, it's nonsense. Like
Mhm.
they should be fighting each other.
But see,
The
this is
game's
why
changed. I think the game's changed.
I'm talking about the WBC because if you ask both the fighters, they're like,
They're ready to fight.
let's
Right,
go,
right.
let's do it. But then you got,
These sanctioning bodies.
you got
belts.
WBC Mauricio Sulaiman like, nah. We're not letting Russian fighters fight, even though you're letting Beterbiev fight. You let Bivol fight Canelo. That wasn't a problem.
That wasn't an issue.
So and now when it's the undisputed is on the line, it's a problem now.
Yeah. Like I said, to me it's hard to believe. Like it makes no sense. It
None.
makes no sense.
I just, for me now, like we're talking about it, it just makes me go back in that circle of I hate the business of combat sports. It's just annoying. It's just something that we're constantly battling, and it's something that ruins the sport. And it's what's making the UFC take over boxing. And I hate to admit it because
No, that's
I'm a former professional in both, and as much as I love the UFC, I love boxing, and I want to see boxing like on top where it used to be. And they always say, "Oh, you need a heavyweight to do it," and it's like, well, we had Tyson Fury, and it's still not right. Like it's still messed up, from the judging to these belt sanctioning bodies. you know, not having these fights happen because they don't want to cross the street and all this shit. Like, you know, I'd rather be like Ronald and have that thought process of fighters should just fight each other, you know, and it's just a shame. And I hope the sport of boxing does change because, you know, I don't want to see it go to the point where, and I hate to even bring these fucking guys up, but just the fact of the Logan Paul and what these YouTube stars are doing, it's sad, but like they're almost bringing like new life to boxing, and it sucks to admit that. Like I hate to say that, but for you for us as like fighters, I'm always a hater on them. I'll tell you that. I'm telling the truth. I hate them motherfuckers, and I hate who they are. But what they do for like Serrano and what they do for the public eye to see like the fighters need to be treated well and paid well, I do like that. But this whole circus act of like, I saw the one fight card they had, it was like a whole like YouTube star show. And I'm like, how the fuck are YouTube stars having like boxing fight cards?
And then selling 500 some,
and they're
400 some pay-per-views.
And they're selling
out arenas.
I mean,
and they're selling out.
The only thing I look at it is like,
so I want to hear his opinion on it. Like, what does he feel? What do you feel about? So yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I want Ronald's thought process and opinion on the sport of boxing, and what is it with the YouTube stars that you either agree, disagree, or, you know, do you agree with it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? You know?
No. To me, it's like if it brings attention to the boxing, I would welcome it. I mean, of course, they're clowns.
Yeah,
but they're
true.
But they're working. They're in the gym.
Yeah, Jake Paul is working.
Jake Paul.
He's actually getting better.
Yeah,
I actually have been beating Fury. I haven't beaten Fury.
I have him going from a non-boxer, just no skill or nothing, to being at least a novice. You know. At least he's
amateur.
working his way up there. He's not no pro, but but he's strong and he can punch.
Yeah, he can
crack. Yeah.
But if it brings attention to boxing, it's cool. Like it's like Muhammad Ali when he used to do her circus act.
Yeah.
And you're ugly and I'm pretty and all this.
Yeah. He knew how to sell a fight.
You know, exactly. Not just him. Masha Kamajo, he come out dancing to the.
Had the suits on, the headsets on. Like he was.
It's just a show and it brings attention to boxing. So. You know, I welcome it.
That's what I said. Like I welcome it too. It's because he's actually training daily. He's running. He's putting in the road work. You know, he's sparring champions. So Jake Paul really, you know, he went from this YouTuber to actual a fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as long as you're living it, you can talk about it. You can be it. So you know, I mean, yeah, we look at him as clowns because he jumped into the sport. He got all the money behind him. Cool, but he's bringing more entertainment to the sport of boxing. And it is levels to it. Like you seen the YouTuber facing Mayweather the other day on. They had a live or something going on.
Oh, the sparring, right?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it was a clinic.
You see the levels.
40-some years old.
Mayweather.
He's 50 years old.
No, but that exhibition that Mayweather had the other time. Who was that against? That wasn't against Deji, was it?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was the last fight.
Then it was the fight before that.
The Asian kid?
Asian kid, yeah.
No. I think it was Deji. Somebody was touching Mayweather, bro.
It was Deji.
Oh man, I hated to see that, bro. I'm like, yo, he gotta stop. Mayweather got.
No, he's fighting someone else that's dangerous. That's coming up. He's fighting. He got another fight coming.
Yeah, but isn't Deji? Deji's a
YouTuber, but Deji's a good puncher. He's southpaw, and you know Mayweather's 45.
So now that it's great that you brought that up because now I want to ask Ronald a personal question, like where as a fighter, and this is something that I battled and struggled with, when do you know, obviously personally for you is the health, but when do you feel is the time to call it quits and be like, you know, I shouldn't be fighting anymore, this is something that I shouldn't be doing anymore, maybe I should think about something else? Or are you just like a very old school just fighter at heart and it's like I'll fight to the end, I don't care, I'll just keep fighting?
No, that's a little harder question because I never got to, I was retired at 27. So I didn't get to where most fighters retire at 35, 36, I didn't get to that. But if they, you know, if they just feel like their reflex ain't right, if they're, I mean, their mentality is like, they'll never accept it. They'll always keep fighting till the end. but they just gotta come be real with themselves and say, you know, my reflex ain't right. I'm getting stuck. I'm getting hurt with punches that I never got, you know, hurt before. This kind of punch, you know, I was hurt, and before that kind of punch would have never hurt me. Then they just gotta be real with themselves and say, yeah, this is my time to retire.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing for me. I noticed him. I was in training camp, and I'll put names out. I was sparring Cornflake, and we know Cornflake is not. No offense, you know, Cornflake, you're my guy. Tell the truth.
Well, he knows it.
Yeah, he knows it too, but he's not the biggest puncher, right? So when I was sparring him, and I was getting ready for a fight, I was supposed to fight in July, and that's the point where I retired, because I knew I was feeling shots that I was able to walk through before. Like, I've had bigger punchers, way bigger punchers hit me. Boots, even Sosa, who's smaller than me, he was a big puncher. He would load up and crack me, and I would just walk through it. And I remember Steven, there were people in sparring, they were like, yo, like, the fuck's wrong with you? Like, you walk through these shots like none. I'm like, well, I don't know, that's just who I am. But then when I started to feel the shots, I'm like, hold up, I'm not invincible anymore. And that's where it is like God spoke to me, life spoke to me, and I was like, this is it, yo.
Our body's aging, you know.
Yeah, yo, it was a horrible feeling to
or if you can't pull the trigger
and accept it, yo.
If you can't pull the trigger, or your reflexes are not there, or like punches that you could slip by. Just takes you like extra seconds to slip it, you know.
That's why I get worried with Floyd. Yo, because I don't want to see him in these exhibitions, and that's where, like what Jamal was saying,
that would be the
like
worst.
if you're getting touched by these regular YouTuber dudes,
because he said it was levels. He was doing that sparring match, and he did embarrass him. He embarrassed that kid that he had in the ring the other day. But Deji is another YouTuber who was putting hands on I mean, he wasn't putting hands on him, but like, yo, he was touching Mayweather. I'm like, yo.
He gave Mayweather a knock, but that's why he got knocked out. He got stopped because he touched him.
He turned it up on him. But that kid that he just sparred, that kid has no experience at all. I think he's about to have his first amateur fight.
Really?
So
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
With Floyd, oh my God.
Floyd's just embarrassed. Like,
yeah, he's so fast, man.
I know.
He's still so fast.
He's so special, and he's so, you know, knowledgeable. He has the experience, the wisdom, but the father of time hits us all, and I just don't want to see it to the point where we see Floyd, we watch Floyd, and he's getting clipped or caught by some regular YouTuber.
Well, look at Roy Jones.
And I know he picks it smart. Like, I know Floyd is a very intelligent person. He's done it his whole career. That's why he's the GOAT. He's one of the, honestly, he's probably the GOAT for multiple reasons. Money-wise, business-wise, skill-wise, sell to fight-wise. He has it all, right? But for me, it would just be sad for me to witness Floyd getting caught and getting hurt and not being the Floyd that we're used to seeing. And for me, in my head, I'm thinking right now, like, the motherfucker's made so much money. Like, why? Like, why does he still need that dopamine? Like, why does he still? I don't think he needs to check.
He doesn't, but
you know what I mean?
They call it Floyd money for a reason.
Yeah. It's easy money. It's easy money, I guess. But I just, I guess for me, as an OG veteran now, I just think differently, man. And I'm like, dude, like, he doesn't even have to no more. Like, he's proven every point in boxing. Like, there's nothing left to prove. So why even? I guess it's easy check. I guess it's an easy check. But I guess for the GOAT, I don't want to see him get caught, yo. Like, that would be a nightmare to me. I can only imagine for you, since that is your guy.
Khalif will cry.
Khalif will cry. Please don't cry in the car.
I did my crying when Roy got knocked out by Tara. I did
the
my
milk dud always got you.
Yeah, the milk dud really got me there. But
I want to ask you.
Pop the milk dud. Quinn, pop the milk dud up on there.
Who's doing these push-ups? Who's doing these push-ups? Me or Jonathan? Who's doing them?
Oh, yeah.
in the podcast, what was the question? It was
Caleb
was
and
it?
Benavidez.
Caleb
I took
Plant.
Caleb, and he bet me 100 push-ups that Benavidez was going to win.
who you got?
Yeah, who's winning
I
it?
want to
I
answer
feel
because
confident, man.
every time like these big upcoming fights come up, I want to study both styles. Like, I haven't done that with them. But going off of that, like right now, I like Kate. I'm just going off of preference because of
The
shit
styles.
that Benavidez is talking like
Yeah.
you know, personality. I'm not really liking what he's doing, and Caleb was more humble and
Calm and collective.
I'm preferring Caleb,
Plant.
but I don't know. Benavidez is a beast.
He is.
Yeah.
He got a tank. He's long. He's tall. It's punches and bunches with him. But ever since Caleb got with Breadman, I'd see a whole different fighter.
Oh my God.
A whole different fighter.
When did he
So
get with Breadman? He
got with Breadman after Caleb. So that Breadman was his trainer when he fought Durrell and knocked him out.
So after Canelo
after
fight.
Canelo.
Yeah, after Canelo.
So
yeah.
one fight.
One
Yeah.
fight.
Breadman. So we
Yeah.
can't really
One
judge.
fight.
It's-
But
yeah,
looking
it's
at
early
if
in
you look
the
at Canelo's fight and then you look at the Durrell fight, to me,
He looks stronger.
the endurance is better, and now he's sitting down on the
But
shots.
the level of opposition between Canelo
And Durrell.
and Durrell was like. there's no
Yeah, I
comparison.
definitely hear that, but
Yeah.
the volume that he was putting out and him still having that stamina and just to see the little critiques, he's a little bit more technical.
Yeah. I mean,
and just seeing him sitting down on it and not just using the whole
He's
ring
gonna
and
be
just tap,
everything
tap,
now.
I mean,
tap, tap.
no offense to Breadman, because that dude, he's a really good trainer.
Mm.
Smart dude.
Yeah.
He did a great job with J-Rock.
J-Rock.
And that's not the only fight that he's worked with. He's worked with many different
Many.
fighters around the world too. But I don't know. I just can't judge
Off of one camp.
Caleb off of one. Yeah.
So who do you think?
I'm going with Benavidez because of the velocity of his punches and he walks you down. I mean, Caleb's a great mover. He's going to pick his shots. He's going to be able to touch Benavidez. But when it comes to the pressure, I don't think Caleb dealt with someone that's going to put the pressure on him like Benavidez.
Even
Even
Canelo? That's about to, I was just about to say.
Canelo, what, pressure?
Canelo.
Canelo is no pressure.
Whole pressure.
Nah, but their
Breaking
styles
the
are a
arm
little
down.
bit different. Canelo, he kind of slowly walks you down, where Benavidez, he's just coming for you. And he's throwing volume.
I agree.
And their
He's
styles
larger.
is
He's larger. He has
yeah,
more
the
range.
styles
I
is
get it.
similar, but it's a little bit
But
different.
Canelo did put
I
pressure.
think Benavidez is way more
Not a
pressure.
volume puncher at all.
Yeah.
Benavidez is
There's
huge
a
volume.
puncher, yeah. And I just think
Oh, I
that's going
agree.
to be too much for him.
Okay.
Too much for him. I just feel like.
What do you think?
Oh, I'm sticking with my guns. I'm going with Caleb Plant.
Caleb.
Really? Caleb Plant? Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going Caleb
Tell
Plant.
the truth. And Caleb, damn.
As of right now,
Tell
but
the truth.
he might change. But he might change. He might go Benavidez. And don't get me wrong,
I gotta
like
study both styles more.
Benavidez Benavidez could definitely win that fight. I'm not clearly saying like, it's Caleb Plant all day. Benavidez could win that fight, but I just think based off his aggression with Breadman and the way Caleb fights as like kind of like a smart fighter, he's gonna try to utilize his pressure against him, and he's gonna make him pay when he's getting those flurry of shots. He's not gonna get that little. I remember the one fight. I don't even remember who it was. He had like 10 punches he got off. It was like, and he just went off, and this dude didn't even respond. 10 punches, bro.
Caleb is not staying.
Come on,
Nah.
Caleb Plant is not happening.
No way.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the only reason that I am favoring Caleb Plant, because of his IQ, his awareness. He's a natural 68. He has good power. He's smooth. He has a lot of tools to win. But does Benavidez have a chance? Hell yeah. Benavidez can definitely
It's not
catch
going
him
to be a
slipping.
wash either way.
Hell no. Hell no. But
I don't believe
I was
what
favoring
he's
Caleb
saying that
Plant.
he's going to knock him out like Benavidez saying he's going to knock Caleb Plant. I don't think so.
Nah.
What about Garcia and Tank? It's a big one coming up.
Everybody's picking Tank right here.
Yeah, it's Tank here for me.
Yeah.
I'm going with Tank.
I hate to like go on,
I guess.
pick the
right?
same one. Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
it's all
yeah.
good.
It's
Yeah.
Tank
I pick Tank.
just by knockout or late decision.
Yeah, knockout.
Knockout.
The
Nice.
way Campbell dropped him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tank
I
hits him
know.
like that. It's
I think
over.
the question really is what's going to happen to Ryan after that?
That's a great question because what happens
If
in his career.
Tank knocks out Ryan, and we saw what happened, we saw what Ryan did after the Luke Campbell thing.
Mhm.
So if he gets not on that big stage in Vegas, millions of people watching, and Tank stretches him,
And he's already talking about his next fight. He's like, I got Tank then MoMA. and you don't even get
Who said that, Ryan?
Ryan's been talking that crazy shit saying I'm getting through Tank, then I'm going to Loma. It's like
I don't know.
you're,
I mean, Ryan does have the abilities
to be anybody.
Oh, I never
to
question
be
it.
anybody. Yeah. Who knows? He could live up to
hype.
live up to his hype.
I know.
And beat Tank, but I prefer. I pick Tank.
Yeah.
But Ryan does have a lot
Ryan's
of
a
natural
dangerous fighter,
abilities.
man. He's dangerous. I mean,
They all
I don't
dangerous at that level to me.
Yeah, I don't overlook anybody. Like especially Ryan's longer, you know. Think I get past that fast left hook. But if Tank in close range, put some hands on him, he gonna do damage.
Yeah, I think he's gonna do damage there. And it's gonna be.
It's like it's not if, it's when.
It's when. Yeah, it's just a matter of time.
So I guess we all agree on that, huh?
We're on Tank. So now with Boots in that division, right? So this is my question now. Like Boots in that division of 147, right? And you know we keep talking about Spencer Crawford, how it's probably never gonna happen at 47. It's probably gonna happen at 54. Do you see Boots running that division? Do you see that Boots beating Crawford? Or do you see Crawford like kind of not doing what Spence did, but kind of a possibility of him going up to 54 and saying forget 47? But then again, I mean, I'm trying to think in my head right now. Crawford didn't unify 147 yet, so do you see him staying at 147 and Boots beating him? Or do you see Crawford staying at 147 and dominating that division?
I think Crawford is going to chase that fight with Spence. Everybody's asking for it. That's the legacy fight.
Yeah.
It's a big fight for both their legacies.
But we just said how once he goes to 54, he's not going back down. And that's
Spence or
that's
Crawford?
Spence. We've had this
Spence
conversation where he's like, "Oh, I'm going to go 54, beat Thurman, and then I'll go 47."
No, Spence will. I don't think Spence will do that.
I don't think so either.
Crawford can. I think he's more comfortable at the weight class.
Oh yeah.
He
I
probably
don't
move up
want
and
the
come
fight,
back down.
honestly, at 54. Even though I think even more so, I think Spence has a better chance at 54 than he
Yeah,
does at
yeah,
47.
I do.
I think he's
yeah.
going to win at 47, but I think he's definitely going to win
better
at
chance
54.
at 54. Yeah.
But at 54, then I don't even. You know what I'm saying? This is supposed to be for undisputed. Like, it's not for undisputed now. It's just
No.
cause. It's just
No.
cause now. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's not the same
Yeah,
no
it
more. It
isn't.
don't got the same bite to it. You know what I mean?
No, it don't. But I just don't see him, like I said, and I think me and Ron are on that same page where it's like once he goes up, he's staying there. There is no
Spence?
coming back to
I
47.
don't think so. I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't see it either. But like I said, like at 47 now, do you see like Crawford running that division, or do you see Boots beating him?
If Crawford stays at 47, then the Spence fight never happened.
Never happens.
Or if he just comes back down or stays at 47, I think Boots has a better chance. I think Boots does beat him because Crawford is what 36,
35.
35.
35, something
By
around
the
there.
time they fight, he'll be 36. Boots will be what 27.
26,
Oh, yeah.
27, yeah.
He'll be in the super prime.
Yeah, he'll be in his peak.
Oh my god.
So it's kind of like passing him the torch. I think
Yeah.
it'll be a great fight. Definitely Crawford could beat him, but I favor Boots.
Hey, we're on that
Skill
same page.
wise, strong.
We're on that same page. At least
Power.
me and you are. I feel like everybody is, but
I mean,
I feel like me and you are on that page where I feel like Boots is that person at 147. Like, ain't nobody gonna mess with him.
Crawford's 35, man.
35?
In a couple
Okay.
years, if he's still there, damn, he'll be 37. Boots.
Crawford's still #1 in the world though. So I mean, as good as Boots is, I know.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Right now on
that would be
paper.
Boots' toughest fight. I mean, I favor Boots too.
Oh,
That's what I
hell
said.
yeah. Have you seen?
If he fought Crawford or Spence, there's no mega fight. The Spence and Crawford fight is dead because he's going to dethrone one of them.
I think the mega fight.
So that's why they should fight first before they fight Boots. Like Boots is just too much of a risk.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Too much of a risk, but that's why people are ducking him. That's why he's the boogeyman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got
Yeah, Crawford will fight Virgil Ortiz before he fights Boots.
Yeah. What's up with that? They're talking about him getting signed with Golden Boy now. Yo, I was seeing like Crawford.
Ortiz?
No, Crawford. They were like,
I don't think
Crawford.
that's.
We think that was fake news.
That might be. It's real news, but I don't think
Okay.
he's signing with them. I think he
That's
might
what I'm saying. I was seeing that. I'm like, why?
set a matchup or two with them. But like
Remember that conversation we
Yeah,
had? Like,
but
we don't
listen,
know.
De La Hoya is not gonna serve up one of his best fighters to Crawford if he's not signed with him. That's not
It
happening.
might be like a 2-fight deal or something. I
Yeah,
know
it's gonna have to be. It's not gonna be no one and done.
Was it a Rocha or something?
Yeah, Alex Rocha. Yeah, Alex Rocha. But
Yeah, the one that scoped.
Oh yeah, Crawford. I'm sorry, Crawford. Yeah,
You already know
Rocha's
Alex
tough.
Rocha's?
But Crawford's in school.
Yeah.
When I
Got
saw
a
Blair.
big
Alexis
knockout.
Rocha.
They beat Blair the Flair. Come on.
Woo!
Yeah,
The
you
man
need to
Flair.
calm down. You need to-
Yeah, he need to calm down. He's out there. He's approaching Boots over there. He's approaching Boots at events. Yo, he going. Boots was laughing
He's
at him.
from
Like,
Philly
yo.
too. I mean, he's a tough fighter, but you know.
I
Yeah,
seen
but
Jason
like you
Sosa
said,
give him.
there's
I seen
levels.
Jason Sosa give him that work at sparring.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
I mean, Blair should fight if we can. And Brody, that would be a show.
Oh my god, yo, that'd be
Rolly, right?
That'd be a great fight, yo. It'd be an entertaining fight. You know what I'm
Could you
saying?
imagine a press conference? I just want to see
Yes.
the press conference, man. I don't want to see
Seriously.
the fight.
Yeah.
Just give me the press conference, man.
Yep, I'll pay for that. That'd be hilarious.
all right, guys, we're about to wrap it up. This is Ronald Cruz. You want to say one last thing? Shout out to some people before we wrap it up.
Like I talk to you guys like we're friends here. But, in front of, I've never been like this. In front of the camera, I've never been this guy. I've been a man of few words always. But like I said, like all these upcoming boxers, young boxers, anybody that has a dream, just never give up and live your dream and just go. Whatever you want to do, if it's something that makes you happy, man, go after it. Go follow your dreams. Leave everything negative behind and just follow your dreams like I did at one point.
Oh man.
You want to give them your handle, your Instagram, Facebook, so they can follow you?
Nah.
Ronald's
I'm not
not even big on that anyway. That's why I respect it.
That's all about
Good
it.
words.
All right.
All about it.
Well, we're at Inyo's Boxing Gym in Bethlehem, PA. This is episode 5 with TTT, Tell the Truth Boxing Pod. It's your boy Khalif Wadlington, Florida Valley Savage, Ricky Nuno. And we out.
Oh, the
Quentin.
man again.
And the
man again.
And it's the producer, Quentin.
Man, I'm leaving the next show, man. I love you, Quentin.
Quit.
good.
We love
I
you,
got you, man.